Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Players Take, episode 124. I'm your host, Justin and Montrell, joined by my co-host. He hates every game he's playing, Montrell Rice.
Yes, I literally do hate every game I'm playing right now.
I know. We're going to get into it. I feel the need to call you out because, you're just you've been complaining about every game you're playing, and it's funny to me.
It's so bad right now. Yeah. It's so bad.
But, hey, man.
I love the games. I just, I don't know. Yeah, we get into it, but I was talking to Tiara the other day, and she was talking about a streamer, and she's like, I hate when streamers play the games they complain about them all the time. And I'm like, yeah, I do too, but I can't stop playing them because I fucking love them, but I fucking hate them at the same time.
You love them and hate them at the same time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Love-hate relationship. Well, Montrell, how's everything going for you, man? How's life?
It's okay. I'm not complaining about it. It's just fucking hot outside, but
sounds about right. Yeah, it's starting to get hot today.
Yeah,
we kind of crescendoed today, I think, into the heat. I was really feeling it today. I think it was close to 100 at certain points in the day, and I'm not excited about it. But this is Texas. I mean, we weren't going to avoid that forever, so it is what it is, you know.
Well, it's crazy that the rest of the country is getting like super heat. Like New York's getting really bad heat right now, and like
Dude,
Washington,
even the Midwest.
Yeah, the Midwest is getting really bad heat right now too, and it's like I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's like I'm used to it by now, but I guess the rest of the country isn't. So it's going to be an interesting 2 months. So
they feel our pain now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I got a vacation next week for my job, and I'm so excited. I'm ready. It's gonna be a lot of video games next week, I think. So that'll be exciting for next week's episode. Even though I'll probably be playing the same games I'm playing right now. But okay, well, Montrell, let's I want to get down to business today. Let's just get right into the show.
Right into it.
For those of you who haven't listened before, this is our weekly show where we talk about video games, video game news, and other topics pertaining to video games. We post at 6 a.m. Central Time on Fridays on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and your favorite podcast app of choice. And please send us questions on Twitter to theplayerstake01. Oh, sorry, this isn't Twitter. Theplayerstake01@gmail.com. That's our email. And then send us on Twitter at theplayerstake. Send us your questions, and we will read them on the show as our final segment of the week. I don't think we had any this week. I didn't actually check before the show, so Dat Dude, if you send us questions, I am sorry. I will check for next week, and we'll get them for next week's show. But I don't think there were any. So, but please send us some questions. We need to lift the weight off of Dat Dude's shoulders. He's been carrying that segment for like a couple months now, you know. So we got to give him a little bit of a break. All right, Montrell, let us start like we always do with what we've been playing. We've been playing very similar games, but do you want to talk about League at all, I guess, before we get into the rest?
I mean, I am having issues with League. It's not that it's standard League shit. It's like the only issue I'm having right now is their balance team is actually a huge issue in the community right now. And
in what way?
So they keep adding items, and they added 2 items or 1 item, which is okay for split pushing. But the problem is, like, they just having issues balancing the champions around these new items. The champions were clearly designed in the old items, like, because I don't know if you knew they had like a massive item rework.
Did they actually add active items? Because they didn't really have those for a long time.
They actually took away a lot of the active items. So,
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So there's only like maybe 3 or 4 active items that I know of that are used like really heavily. But the issue is, like, a lot of these champions are designed around the old items and the old system, because they also change how, you know, cooldowns work and everything like that. So a lot of these champions, like, I was going to get to Zed the other day in mid lane, and I never really have issues with Zed. But man, this guy, every time he came back to lane, his ult was up. He would just ult the fuck out of me, and I'm just like, bro, where is this cooldown coming from? And then I picked Zed, and yeah, every time I came back to lane, every 30 seconds to a minute, my ult was up. And I'm just like, bro, this is not balanced at all. I should not be doing this many ults with Zed. So I just think they need to do a massive rework of everything,
Hmm.
not just the characters, but like the way something works. I don't know what the issue is. It's just I think they did this item rework and they didn't. I know they were going to balance it over time, but it's just like they're taking their sweet time, and I think a lot of the players are just getting upset with this with
Well,
these balances.
it's kind of an interesting thought. I mean, do you think that it's because do you think they're having issues because there's just too much volume in the game now? Too many items, too many characters. There's like too much to balance, like I
Yes,
mean, because League's been going for 12 years at this point.
yeah. So what they did was they condensed the rune pages down because the rune pages, I don't know if you remember, used to be actually super
Yeah,
complex. Not
they
super
were like
complex.
full talent trees from like World of
Yeah,
Warcraft level
yeah, and they
complex.
condensed. Yeah, then they condensed those down significantly, and I
Okay.
appreciate that. They can actually condense down the items a lot too, as well. Even with that new item rework, the problem is I feel like they need to either do a massive rework of a lot of the champions, like take them offline and rework them, or yeah, I mean that's like the only possible solution. I think
Vault some of them, just get rid of them for a while.
yeah, exactly. That's actually a good idea. I think games should start doing that, vaulting certain champions and heroes and stuff like that. And I know that may suck for people who main those champions, but like I feel like there are certain mechanics now that are pointless. I think point and click attacks, like point and click CC stuns, I think are insanely useless now. I think the player base has progressed past the need for a point and click stun. Like Andy Rise has point and click stuns.
Well,
Then you
when you
got
say point
Timo.
and click, you mean like target a person with it,
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
okay?
not a skill shot. I think all CC should be skill shots because I think the player base now has progressed past the need for point and clicks. Point and clicks was way back in the day for early MOBAs when people were first getting into them, but now I feel like the player base skill gap and knowledge has progressed past the need for that, and it's at the point now where it's overpowered because these items kind of incentivize just picking point and click CC champions or point and click ability champions. Like there should be no reason that Timo has a point and click blind on his fucking his Q or whatever. That it should be some kind of skill shot. There should be no reason that Pantheon has a point and click, stun or something like that. Or I can go in and on about point and click stuns, or CCs in general. I just feel like the community has progressed past the need for that, and I feel like a lot of these champions do need to be worked. I feel like I'm actually tired. I know this is going to be an ongoing thing with games, even with Apex Legends and anything with champions. I feel like it's no excuse though. I feel like we have progressed as far as game knowledge has progressed past the need for a meta. There should be no reason that one champion or one character, even in fighting games, is more overpowered than the other. We have so much information to shuffle through and so much knowledge out there that there should be a way to balance these characters out without having a meta champion. Or even if you do
Yeah.
pick an off meta champion or off meta
Hmm.
fighting game character, the low tier characters should have a chance to come up and be a champion as well, or
Well,
whatever the case may be.
I'm gonna challenge. I wish we were more popular because I would challenge the player bases of these games because the reason there's a meta is because the player base seeks it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, if the player base was less reliant on outside sources to understand these games and learn how to play them and learn how to play them well and understand which characters are good and which items are good and which items with which characters are good and that kind of shit and which items are good against certain other characters. If the players were less reliant on that, I think these games would be better for it. I think that's my issue with them is that unfortunately, like I almost feel for the devs, like for like Riot and even Respawn and Blizzard and Dota with Dota, Valve. I almost feel for
Mm-hmm.
these developers because it's like they're trying to balance around that meta, but it's not like the metas of their own creation necessarily. Because if the player bases were more, I don't know, like they actually played the game and figured out their own strategies, yes, there would still be a meta. There definitely still would be a meta. The problem is that we're all congregating online and like putting all this data together and figuring out which is the best DPS in a certain situation or which characters do the most damage or which character is the most effective with the newest items and all that shit. And that aggregation has just, I think it's my biggest problem with these online games is that element to it, is that I just feel like I feel like an old man like yelling at the sky, because I've always been the type, because we were talking about like World of Warcraft Classic yesterday, I think it was, and Brad was talking about raiding and all this stuff, and then Jet started talking about that too, and he was like, if you came to the raid and you hadn't watched videos on the bosses, like if you've never done the raid before, like we wouldn't even allow you in. And I'm like, I mean, I don't want to play a fucking game like that, Like I don't want to have to do homework to go play a video game. And to be frank, like in an MMO specifically, like I kind of want to go in blind. Like I want to go in blind and like learn the fucking fight, And if it takes me 20 tries to fucking beat the fight because it's hard and it's a lot to figure out, that's fine. That's fun to me. What isn't fun is going and watching a 30-minute video that breaks down every mechanic and then I one shot it because I know every mechanic going into it. It's like that. I don't really find that fun, because I'm capable of doing that. It's easy enough to do. Like I'm a very competent MMO player. Like I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but it's like, it's not, these games aren't that hard. MMOs really aren't that difficult generally. And like, if you know everything that's going to happen in advance, like it just kind of makes it boring, to me. And so that extends to these competitive games though, too, because there's metas around these games where like fucking Caustic, like our friend Snakes, like Caustic has been nerfed into the ground to the point that no one plays him anymore. I barely see Caustic ever in Apex Legends anymore. And it's because everybody complained about Caustic. Like everybody, like streamers, players, everyone that didn't play Caustic hated Caustic. But we were talking about this in our Discord with our friends earlier this week, is that this game's meta, Apex, and we've been playing Apex, by the way, so this is kind of why we're talking about this. Montrell came back this past weekend, and he's played a few games with us, and you're enjoying it, but there's issues with this game though that are just so evident. Is that the meta of Apex has shifted from, it used to be a fast game. It's always been a fast-paced game, but it has gone from fast to faster to faster. Like it is insane. People just push. That is the meta now. You see team, you push team. That is the meta. There is like, and you get on them as fucking fast as you possibly can. Like you octane sprint, you throw a fucking jump pad down, you just jump at them. You don't give a fuck about cover or anything. You just fucking run at people. 3 people at once, just run at the other squads. You fucking kill them, and then you move on to the next fucking squad. And that's like the meta right now. And the reason why, in my opinion, is literally linked to Caustic. Like the fact that he's barely in the game anymore, he was a deterrent to that type of gameplay, like an extreme deterrent. He was so effective at stopping those kind of pushes and punishing those kind of pushes that it affected the game's meta, like because people would be afraid to push into another team in the case that they had a Caustic on their team. But now he hits like nothing. Like his gas is completely irrelevant. You just ignore it. Like you don't even like try to get out of it. You just run through it and shoot him. It's like it's not even a problem anymore. So that change, that one change to that character, and the fact that there are no other characters that are as effective as him at stopping pushing has just made it so that this meta now is just push. And it's not that it's not fun. I am enjoying the game, but it is annoying because it's just hyper aggression, man. And it's like I feel like I'm playing like team deathmatch, Like I don't really feel like I'm playing strategic BR anymore, because it's just like, dude, it's just it literally just comes down to if you have better aim than your opponent. That's most of the time at this point. And I mean, it is a shooter, and that's probably the way it should be. But at a certain point, though, like strategy needs to be a part of the game for a BR, in my opinion. For a BR to be good, strategy needs to be a key element to success in those games. And I feel like Apex is kind of losing that a little bit right now. So,
well, everyone's trying to follow. See, I hate doing this, but everyone's following the trend of like Call of Duty, and I don't want to say Call of Duty doesn't require strategy because I don't play it like that. But from what I know of Call of Duty, like the regular team deathmatch and everything, it's just run in and kill, right?
Yeah.
And with Apex, I remember when we first started playing it, like maybe 5 seasons ago, I think 4 or 5 seasons ago.
Right.
It was more strategic. You had to like learn about each character's abilities. You had to know like, okay, who does this team have? Okay, they have a caustic, they have a fucking lifeline, they have a fucking bloodhound. So they're gonna be playing slow and just being really defensive. You got to play around that. But now everyone just plays it literally legitimately. All I see is Wraith, Valkyrie,
Octane,
Octane. That's it.
Horizon,
Yeah, and maybe Horizon. That's it.
Bloodhound. That's about it. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Uh, and no one else plays anybody else. So it's like I, I don't know. And then my whole issue is I know Dr. Disrespect did something about, how the game is too slow. I actually disagree. I think the game is way too fucking fast.
Yeah.
Way too inconsistent for my taste. Like at
Mm-hmm.
least with like even with PUBG with hackers, right? The game was still slow paced. And even with Kerrigan, it was a slow pace but fast paced thing. It was faster than
Yeah.
what it normally was, but you still had to move strategically throughout the map with Kerrigan map. With
Mm-hmm.
Apex, I just feel like you hot drop, and if you get the better weapons, you win. And
Yeah.
then, like sometimes I'm playing 20-second fights, and then sometimes it's literally 2 seconds. And there was one game I've been practicing my aiming a lot. And there was one game like I legitimately put a lot of shots in this guy. He turns
Mm-hmm.
around, laser beams me with the 308, and I'm just like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And I don't get it. And it's like I don't know if they have like a really bad anti-cheating system or something
Yeah.
like that. And I
There's
don't like
hackers in the
saying,
game.
yeah, and I don't like
There's a
saying
lot
there's
of them.
hacker. Everyone's hacking that kills me, but it
Mm-hmm.
sure does feel like when you run into 3 or 4 consistent games in a row when people just turn around and laser beam you, and it's like there
Yeah.
can't be any way that everyone's just
Well,
emoji pro. And I'm playing by
yeah.
myself, so there are people. I'm not playing predator level people. They're like my level when I'm playing, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
these people just turn around and laser beaming me too, and I'm just like, this is ridiculous.
No, that's the thing is like we're not that good at the game. Like we're good, but we're not that good. And and the idea that we're running into people who are legitimately like because it happened to us yesterday. We were playing arenas, dude, and this like made me want to quit. I just was so pissed because there was this we were playing arenas and there's the team had like Watson on it, and this Watson was just skipping around like fucking super laggy, was just like a slideshow, like running at like 2 frames a fucking second, and
Yeah.
so she was hard to hit. Obviously, we were having trouble hitting her, but the thing is, the person playing her, I'm pretty sure the person was hacking because I think they had a latency hack as well as an aimbot. Because what was happening was we would go to shoot at her and she would turn around and just fucking blow us up, like instantaneously. Because we won one round somehow. We managed to win one round because all three of us got on top, found her and isolated her and killed her really fast. We managed to do it once, and then on the match point game, we were down to a 2v1. We had killed her other two teammates, and it was just me and one of my teammates and her. And we go from two sides of her, and she's fighting my teammate, like looking at my teammate shooting, like looking the opposite direction. And I get a shot on her, and admittedly, I potato aimed. I missed like half a clip on her when I was shooting, but I'm firing at her while she's shooting my teammate. She turns around and fucking kills me in like less than half a magazine, like straight up full dead. Like I'm just like what is the fucking point in playing this game if that's the level of forgiveness I'm gonna get? Okay, I miss half a magazine and I lose. Like, come on, dude. Like that's the reason I like Apex is the fact that it has a low time to kill, like a slower time to kill, because it allows me to fuck up and still maybe win a fucking battle, like win an engagement, that's why I like the game, and the speed is an element to that as well because it allows me to get away potentially, too.
Mhm.
But it's like I don't know. Lately, I'm just feeling like we kind of took a huge break this season from the game as we've been playing Final Fantasy, but we just got back into it this past weekend, and I'm enjoying it. But this meta, I'm not enjoying, and it doesn't seem like Respawn cares. They seem happy with where things are. To be honest, it seems like they even want to take it further. Honestly, and because they had a character like Valkyrie, and I'm sure plenty of people are just going to say she's not overpowered, but she is one of the worst characters they've added to this game. I fucking hate her because all of a sudden I have to pay attention for enemies in places I never had to look before, because she's just fucking, she can go anywhere she wants at any time with no repercussions. She doesn't have to spend anything. Like it's just free. She can just do whatever she fucking wants. And she is oppressive as fuck in arenas, like in certain maps. Like there was a Skulltown arena map where she's getting on buildings you can't even get on if you're anybody else, but unless you're like Pathfinder, like no one else can get on these buildings, and she's just on them, and we can't even get around to shoot her because there's like a slope on it, and she can hide under that when we shoot her enough times, and she can fucking heal up. She comes back up, pokes her fucking head back out, and just pot shots us while our teammates are hitting us from underneath or something. It's like,
Well, not to change subjects from the games or whatever.
yeah.
But I had a huge discussion on Twitter. Well, it wasn't a huge discussion. It was like a little brief discussion. But people were wondering why I hated Halo Reach so much. They could not understand why I hated that game so much as far as the multiplayer wise. I said Halo Reach is one of the worst multiplayer games of all time. One of the worst multiplayer Halos of all time. And yes, that includes 4. At least 4 was balanced. It was just boring as fuck. But obviously everyone's going to point to this ability called Armor Lock that gives you temporary invincibility, and it's an EMP when you try to hit melee somebody. Like you hit it and your shield goes down and their shield's still up and they can just hit you. So it's like a counter to that, right? But I think the most overpowered thing in the entire game, and this is when they put in Valkyrie, I knew this the exact same shit was going to happen. They put the jetpacks in the game. You can load out, and in Halo Reach, you can start loadouts with that game. And I remember in ranked, everyone and their mom either picked Sprint or jetpacks. And Sprint obviously to get power weapons, but fucking jetpacks, they break the monotony of the map. There's no
they break the design of the map because you can get anywhere. Like obstacles aren't obstacles to you anymore. That's my point about her. Is like I don't understand what they were thinking with this character, giving her a passive jetpack, because she has other abilities besides her jetpack, by the way, guys. Like, that's not even her primary abilities. Like, they're not the ones you activate. No, that is considered her passive, her jetpack. She has a rocket barrage that she fires that slows you and does that, like, static effect that arc stars do.
Okay.
It does both of those if you get hit by the rockets, which I don't understand how they think that's balanced. But then her ultimate is cool. It's nothing crazy. She can like grab her teammates can like latch onto her and she can shoot them up in the air like a jump tower basically, and you can fly wherever you want. That's not OP in my opinion. I actually like that. It's hard. It's not necessarily it's a nice getaway tool, but there is risk to it because it takes a little time to go up. You're vulnerable for a few seconds. You're also giving away your position as well, especially when you're landing. So there's pros and cons to it, but her jetpack has no cons. Zero. There's no cons to her jetpack. If you're smart with it, like, don't be an idiot and fly out in the open, like, where, everybody can fucking shoot you. But if you're smart with her jetpack, dude, like, you can get to places and just fucking flank people and do all sorts. She breaks the game. Like, she completely breaks the map, in my opinion, because, like you said, obstacles on the map are irrelevant to you. The map design irrelevant to you because you can get above it. You can go higher than it. Like, you can get on top of anything. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. So I don't understand the thought process there. You're going to put one character who's in the game like that. It's like super frustrating. It is.
Yeah. And like, a lot of people will say, well, just look up and shoot them. They're super vulnerable. That's the counter. Like, just look up and shoot them. And it's like, yeah, that is a good strategy. But it's particularly...
Yeah, but high ground is an advantage in a shooter.
Yeah,
it always has been and always will be. Like, that's the idea. That's why Pathfinder was so good for a long time.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. Like, yeah, I can look up and shoot them or whatever. And it's particularly in fucking Halo Reach's case, we're looking up and shooting them, and then their other teammates respond and kill us. So it's like, and I'm sure it's the same way in Apex, right? Like, oh, we'll get their teammates out and then shoot her. She's vulnerable in the air, but it's like she's going to be flying anyway while you're shooting her teammates. So it's like there's not the only way to kill her is to get her isolated. But even then, you have to do strategy. So I think jetpacks in shooters, I don't know how you would like nerf them, like give them temporary boost. Maybe they have like maybe use them as a double jump. Maybe that's what they should have did with her instead of giving her a passive jetpack. Like, give her a double jump or some shit like that.
That would have been fine.
But I don't think I don't think jetpacks have any place in Apex, in my opinion. And I like the character, but I mean, if you're gonna give her a damaging ability like that, you need to give other characters damaging abilities like that. I don't know. It's just weird how they balance the game out. Some certain
Yeah.
characters have damaging abilities and certain characters don't. Like if you're gonna make like I don't consider Mirage a attacking character. They give him the little bullet sign because he's supposed to be an
Hmm.
attacking character. I think
Offensive,
he's a
right?
yeah, offensive character. I think he's a glorified support. Like if you think about it, right? When I heal you, I go invisible. When I'm near respawn beacons, I go invisible. When I'm on the ground, I go invisible. Like that's more like support shit. I feel like his fucking clone should be able to go out and maybe explode or some shit like that. Like that would be cool, but it doesn't do that. It just stands there. So it's
Yeah.
like it's more of a I feel like he's a glorified support more than an offensive person, in my
Right.
opinion.
Yeah,
They
I
just
know. And a
they just
character like him is a great example because he was even worse before they reworked him, and now, but after the rework, like he was decent for a while. He was never really a meta character, but now it's like he's back to where he was, in my opinion. He's just kind of an afterthought thought character. Like he's not good. He's not really good compared to most of the other characters. His abilities are just kind of like, I mean, they're cute. They're like noob busters, for the most part. Like, if you're inexperienced at the game, you'll get confused by his Mirage thing, but
Mhm.
his ultimate is a little bit more useful, I'd say, but the second he starts shooting at you, you know which one's real.
Yeah.
So that's like the counter to it. You just don't shoot at all the fucking mirages. Just wait for him to fire, and then you know which one is real. So it's it's like you put a character like him next to Valkyrie or next to like Horizon or some of the other meta characters, and it's just like I don't understand what they're thinking. Like I I'm at the point where like adding a character every battle pass or every season is like they're kind of going to balloon this out of control to the point where I think the game is just going to end up like League, where there's too many characters and half of them suck dick, where they're like not even worth picking ever for any reason. And then like because that's where Caustic is right now, like he's literally not worth picking. But then you're gonna have the other characters that are the meta that you're gonna see in every game. You're gonna see the same three on every fucking squad. Every tryhard is playing the same characters. And I say this as a Wraith player. I play Wraith, like she's one of my main characters. But I also play Revenant, who's not like hyper meta. So, I enjoy off meta characters as well. And I find it frustrating. I definitely find it frustrating. I think Apex is like it sucks because I really like the game. I just feel like if it continues to go in this direction, though, I don't know if I'm just gonna get more frustrated by it, and I'm not gonna want to play it anymore. So I don't know. I don't know. But we've also been playing Final Fantasy 14, of course, which is another game I'm not frustrated with, but I know Montrell is. Montrell, where are you at with Final Fantasy 14?
I know I always say this, but yeah, this time I've legitimately been doing it. Or the times I have been playing, I've just been skipping the story. I love the story for what it is. I love everything about the story. My problem is I'm not playing a single player game. I'm playing MMO and I'm playing with friends. And I know this game was designed with a single player mindset in mind. Because they learned a lot of issues from they learned a lot of things from WoW. Even the creator said that. Um, but the problem is it's just it's too single playery.
Well, it's
Like
too much of it. It's too
yeah,
much. The
it,
volume is extreme. Yeah.
yeah, it's too. I legitimately feel like I'm playing a Final Fantasy game, and that's
Hmm.
cool. I feel like low key. I'm playing like Final Fantasy 12 too. That's what I
Yeah.
feel like I'm playing. Um, and I like that, but I'm not. I'm playing with friends, and it's just like sometimes I really do feel like I'm just playing instances. Like, oh, I'm going into this instance. It doesn't really feel like an MMO. Even sometimes when I'm out in the field, the adventure field and stuff like that. Maybe they'll change once I get the shadow bringers. I'll see more players doing public events and things of that nature. Because I did see that at the beginning of Heaven Sword that a lot of us were doing public events, things of that nature. But then once I started to get further in the story, I started to see less and less players doing these public fates and everything of that nature. And I think that would change by the time I get to the in game content. because there are probably more players out there in the end game content. I just
Mhm.
don't like. We already talked about it, how they lock off players from certain content because you got to pay to pass it and all this stuff like that. And I understand the patches at the time why they did what they did, but bro, there just should be an option. I shouldn't have to pay for that square if I already paid for all your content as well. If I would just want to blow through the shit and I don't give a fuck about the story, I should be able to do that. Like you shouldn't lock me in because you gotta follow the story. And I know the Final Fantasy 14 fanboys say, oh well, the story is very integral to what you're doing. A lot of people like me, I didn't give a fuck what was going on in Burning Crusade. I was like, oh, I don't fucking care. This shit's cool. Like, I'm just playing the fucking game. Then I learned about the story later on, and I'm like, oh, okay, that was actually very intriguing. But for the most part, I didn't give a fuck. I was just playing the MMO. I was enjoying the experience of playing with other players, and that was my MMO experience. And
Mhm.
with Final Fantasy 14, I have a dedicated party. The problem is we're all sectioned off because of this goddamn single player story that's in the MMO. And
Yeah.
I just even Destiny wasn't this locked off. Like it's just such an arbitrary, and Destiny's not an MMO, right? It's like an MMO
Right.
light. But like
Mhm.
Destiny has different expansions and everything of that nature, and it was not this locked off. And it's like I don't understand what Square Enix is doing. I love this game for what they're making with it. I just
Mhm.
don't like it for new players. And like Tiara was like, "Yo, should I play this game?" Because she plays MMOs, and I'm like, "You're not gonna be able to play with me because you're going to buy the expansion, you're going to buy the subscription, you're going to play through the patches. If you don't want to play through the patches, then you gotta buy this." And it's like that's like $150 or maybe like 125. It's like $125 at the end of the day just to play with your friends and to play the in-game content. And nobody wants to spend. That's a huge, huge like investment to play. So I know the memes that people say like, well, you play right now, you can play Final Fantasy 14 right now, all the way up into Heaven Sword. At the end of Heaven Sword, get to level 60, and it's free. Yeah, but
Mhm.
once players hit that level 50 fucking patch, and they gotta go through like 20 patches, they're gonna be
Yeah.
like, why am I playing this game?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Well, dude, we've been playing. My sub. I think I have 25 days left in my current sub, and so I think we're at about 5 weeks of playing this game, pretty hardcore. And I've been playing it more than anybody, and I'm still not done. I'm in Shadowbringers right now, like, and then I have the patches after Shadowbringers that I have to do. But you guys are like still in the Heavensward patches. Like that's how far behind they are from me right now. And Snakes is in about to hit Shadowbringers, but he paid to get ahead, and then he played a lot as well with me, a lot of the time. So, but he's like a lot of space behind, a lot of content behind me now, and it's like I find it. I don't know. I do find it ironic, Montreal, because I'm going to call you out a little bit because you guys are the ones who decided we were playing this game. You, Andy, and Jet. Okay. You guys made this decision. And yet Andy is at the point where he's done. He isn't coming back. He's not playing anymore, dude. World of Warcraft patch 9.1 came out. He's on that. He's been on that this week since that came out. He ain't coming back to Final Fantasy, dude. I am like convinced of that at this point because yeah, he can't stand this kind of gameplay. He all Andy wants to do is run dungeons. That's all he wants to do in his MMOs. And Final Fantasy 14 doesn't let him do that. He has to do all this fucking story content that he doesn't give a shit about, like and like unlock all these mechanics and shit. And to be honest, it's I don't know. I get the frustration. Like I was complaining about it a couple weeks ago. It's just the sheer volume of it at this point for somebody coming in who hasn't played since A Realm Reborn was current. Dude, it's just so fucking much. It's just so much of it. It's hours and hours and hours, and these cutscenes are like 20 minutes, bro. Sometimes, it's like I'm just like I just want to fucking level, dude. Like, and the cutscenes just keep going sometimes, and like I get it, they want to tell this awesome story, and to be honest, the story is awesome. I'm
It
enjoying it a
is.
lot,
It
but
is.
I'm fucking done right now. I'm like I'm finding myself like I don't care about Shadowbringers to like a large extent. And it's not because Shadowbringers is bad. It's just because I've done 3 games like this now. 3 fucking like the base game and 2 expansions I've now done. And I'm just fatigued. I'm fatigued. Like I wish I could, because I'm about to hit level 80. Like, and I'm still like at the beginning of Shadowbringers, like beginning to middle of Shadowbringers. Like I think my quest level 74, maybe. And when I hit 80, I would like to just skip, like just put the story aside for a while and go do other things. But I can't do that. This is my issue with it. Is like I cannot fucking do that. Like I have to do the story in order to unlock key content. The game doesn't let you play it until you've done the whole fucking story. And that part is the part that really pisses me off about it. Is like, because to be honest, we could just fucking grind you guys to 80 pretty quick. I don't really think it would take us that long to do it, but
we
you
can't play the
can't.
content.
You
Yeah.
can't. You have to unlock all the content. You can't even come to the dungeons with me. Like, and that's my problem with it. It's just this giant like gated fucking like playpen. You know, it's like an amusement park where you can't go on the rides until you go. You like you can't go on the roller coaster until you ride this roller coaster, and you can't go on that roller coaster until you went on this log flume over here. And like it's like, man, like I get it. I do. I get it. You're trying to tell a cohesive story and you need to do these things in order. But I think Square had kind of forgot that they're making an MMO. Like, you know, and they just don't seem to care about people who are new. And that's why I find it surprising that this game is continuing to grow, because it's too much. When we started playing, dude, like I'm surprised we're all still playing, because I looked at a quest list when we started doing this and I was just like, oh my God, this is overwhelming. Like it was 500, 600, 700 quests that we were going to have to do. And I'm towards the tail end of it now, but I don't know. It's tough. It's really tough. Like, because I don't want you to be miserable playing, dude. Like, I don't want any of you guys to be miserable playing, but at the same time, like, you guys just gotta grind through it, man. Like, because it is going to be fun when we get there. But
yeah,
like,
I'm just grinding through it, and it's like I'm just gonna watch YouTube videos and stuff like that for the story, so I can understand what's going on. But at this point, I'm actually done with the story, and I skip every cutscene now. And I at one point I was way behind Jet, and I caught up to him in like a couple hours because I just skipped cutscenes.
Oh yeah,
like.
So the time investment needed goes like significantly down if you don't watch any cutscenes. Like that's the majority of the time is just watching cutscenes, you know.
And it's not like they're all voiced. You have to read a lot. And I mean, like, that sounds really stupid. Like, oh, you guys are mad you have to read. And it's like, yes, I just want to play. Like, shut up. I just want to play the game. Like, I don't know. If it was some way they can do like a split screen thing while you're like have a little screen in the corner and play the cutscene while you're doing other content, that would be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway.
Well, so Jet told me something on Friday though that put a little kernel in my head, is that Ion Classic apparently came out. So all these classic MMOs are happening, okay? And he tells me Ion Classic's coming out. And I don't think I've talked about this MMO in this show before, but Ion is one of my favorite MMOs that I've ever played. I just love the aesthetic of it. I love the gameplay. It is not the best MMO in the world. It's definitely not. Not even close, in fact. But for me, it just hits all my buttons perfectly. Like, it's got the perfect aesthetic for what I like in an anime game, like a game that looks like an anime, because it doesn't, like, it has an anime look to it, but it's like almost sort of realistic looking. Like, that's kind of the art style they went for, and I love the look of it. And I love the character animations. I just love the style of the world. I think the game is beautiful, to be honest, and I like how unforgiving it is. It is a really hard MMO, like challenging MMO. It is also really grindy. And I started playing it this weekend. I played it on Saturday and Sunday. I haven't played it since, but I'm planning on going back. I got to level 10 and the max level is 50. And it's just like I remember, dude. They kept it pretty much intact. The issue is they've added monetization to this game in the form of a cash shop that is not very large right now. However, there's an item in there that you can buy with real money that you can sell for in-game currency that like gives you a lot of in-game currency, in fact. So they've basically circumvented gold farmers in their own game by selling currency through their cash shop. And there's a big controversy right now with the game because I don't like it personally because it unbalances the economy. It makes it so that it's not a natural economy. Like you can inject money into it whenever you want. So the inflation is fucking huge. And it's already happening on these servers after a week or two. So that's the thing, Montreal, is we're like, it's funny that we picked Final Fantasy 14 because if we wanted to play an MMO like together, like right away, World of Warcraft was probably the one. Like WoW Classic, that was probably the one. However,
I didn't feel like going through that level of experience in WoW.
I know
it
none
was
of us
not
did.
fun. Yeah,
I know none of us did. But Ion, though, on the other hand, is another MMO that we could just jump in and group together every night. We could do that every night, dude, in that game. You know, if we were all playing it, and it can actually accommodate all of us. The group size is, I think, 6 in that game, or maybe 5. I think it is 6. So it can accommodate all of us, and it's a grinding game. So it's like literally what we would do is we would log in and we just go somewhere and fucking murder mobs all night, and then we go run dungeons if we felt like it. You know, it just was like it's kind of built for the way we want to play right now, and it's just nobody's interested in it. So I get it.
I think I can do it on stream. Like we can stream it because
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure not a lot of Ion streamers are out there, and we can be really niche
Yeah.
with that. If that makes any sense.
Maybe. Yeah.
And I don't mind.
I'm just
those
saying
type of
though, I kind of wish you guys would try it out and give it a shot because yeah, I think it would be a great game for our group because we could legitimately all level characters together pretty easily. Like and stay relatively close to each other in level.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I'm having fun with it. I'm gonna play it some more this week when I'm off. I think I'm gonna commit to this. I'm just like I'm fully in the multiplayer realm right now. Totally engrossed in multiplayer. So but hey man, if you change your mind, if you decide you want to play it, you know, let me know. I'll make a new character. I'll make a new character with everybody too. I have one, but I'll make another one. I was talking to Jed about that last night. Like I'm willing to try a different class. So but yeah. It's a hard sell. I know. We're all playing Final Fantasy 14, so I'm sure the focus will remain there. But okay, Montreal. Anything else you want to talk about games you're playing?
Nope, that's it.
All right, let's move into the news. 42 minutes into the show. We always do this. Okay, we do have some big stories this week. Actually, there was some pretty interesting news that happened the last few days, in fact. And we're gonna start with Sony. So Sony has actually acquired a couple studios and may actually be acquiring a third very soon. So earlier this week, Sony announced that they are acquiring Housemarque, who are the developers behind Returnal. They also made Resogun, Nex Machina, Alien Nation, Dead Nation back in the day, Super Stardust HD on the PS3 and the Vita, I think, as well. So they're a very well established studio. They have a long-standing relationship with PlayStation. This feels like it should have happened like 5 or 10 years ago, to be honest.
I really wasn't surprised by this news when it happened, but the only thing I am surprised about is that they weren't a Sony studio at all before this. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty surprising to me. But I'm happy they finally got acquired by Sony.
But they also acquired a second studio called Nixxes. What's their name? Nixxes Software. So this one's weird though. They are a what country are they from? They're based in the Netherlands. That's right. Okay. So they're a European studio. They're based in the Netherlands, but they are particularly focused on PC ports. That's the focus of this company. And they are, it has been announced, like they announced them. They're part of PlayStation Studios. Like it is official. Like they're an official PlayStation Studio. So this one kind of came out of nowhere. The third one though, and this isn't official yet. However, this came as a result of the Housemarque announcement. Sony Japan, or PlayStation Japan, their Twitter account accidentally posted a picture of the PlayStation Studios logo with all the games it was showing with Bluepoint's logo on it, and it said, "Welcome to the family." And also the new logo, well, not logo, but the picture with the logos on it actually has the character from Demon's Souls on it. Even the one they had for Housemarque. So this feels like it's imminent and inevitable. It's happening. They're acquiring Bluepoint, which if you've listened to this show, I have been saying for quite a while that Sony needed to do this. They needed to make this official before somebody else swooped in.
Mm-hmm.
But here we are. So the thing is, I wanted to group all these together in one story because they are related and they all happen. So they're all happening like kind of close to each other. But Montrell, you already gave your thoughts a little bit on Housemarque, but I mean, overall, how do you feel about these acquisitions for Sony?
I think they makes perfect sense. I don't see any controversy around them.
Mm-hmm.
The PC port one that makes sense. Oh Jesus Christ! The PC port one that makes sense
Mm-hmm.
because they're probably going to start porting a lot of their first party games over to PC. I think they
Yep.
saw how well Death Stranding did and how
Mm-hmm.
well Horizon Zero Dawn did, and they're going to start doing that. The thing is, I mean, I don't really see any issues. There was a rumor going around that Blue Point was going to remaster some other games, and I don't know if it was for Xbox or Konami or some shit like that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but it makes sense that Sony just would probably hurry up and swoop them up as well, because if not, I think Xbox will swoop them up, because that would make, if I was the competition, that's what I would do. I saw how
Mm-hmm.
good they made a remake, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to swoop you up, and you're mine now.
Yep.
So it just makes sense, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think all three of these are great acquisitions for Sony. Like Housemarque, like I said, like we said, it should have happened a long time ago. At this point, it's weird. There was a point a few years ago where Housemarque and Sony kind of their relationship fractured a little bit. And Housemarque kind of had to go out on their own and do some things, and they weren't very successful. But they kind of got back with PlayStation, and then they made Returnal, which was pretty well received. And here we are. So this is good. I actually think Housemarque 2 fits in really well with Sony's existing first party because they don't make story driven games the way most of the rest of the first party does. They are a gameplay centric studio for the most part. Returnal had some story in it, but it wasn't necessarily the primary focus of that game, and they've never been that studio. So that's exciting to me because I think Sony needs more studios like that are really gameplay focused. Nixus, like you said, makes perfect sense. They're starting to get into the PC realm. They really want to start porting their games to PC. Getting a solid PC porting studio under their belt or under their umbrella is a very valuable addition. And then Blue Point, I think, is the biggest one though, and I'm sure we're going to hear about this probably in the next week or two, I would assume. But if Xbox had come in and stolen this studio from Sony, that would have been devastating because they have had a long-standing relationship with Blue Point, and Blue Point is just an excellent remake / remaster studio. Like they just are so fucking good at doing that style of development, and that is very valuable. I think in today's market because there's just a lot of games out there, especially with Sony. And I mean, this is true of Nintendo and Xbox as well. They kind of need a studio like this as well. But there's a lot of games in their back catalog that have the potential to be remade, reimagined, brought forward, and just modernized that would be hyper successful in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I think Blue Point is it's a perfect addition in that sense. So I think that's great. How much do you think though? Because when you take this on top of the announcements of those second party studios with Jade Raymond's what was it, Haven, there was Firewalk Studio, and then Deviation Games that they announced as well. These are all second party studios that they didn't announce any games, but they announced partnerships with them that they're making exclusives for PlayStation 5. When you take this in concert with that, are you do you feel like this is kind of them a little retaliating a little bit towards Xbox, what Xbox has been doing lately?
Uh, yes and no. I feel like Sony has always been doing this type of thing. What they're
Mm-hmm.
doing to me, right? What they're doing right now is not a retaliation to Xbox. It's Sony being Sony. Sony has did this last generation, and they did this the generation before last. Um, I think, or they did it last generation. I think they're more so on top of it this generation is because, and this is like going way back, and this is my prediction. I think someone in there, someone in the executives who actually knows, like I know Jim Ryan, he supposedly knows video games a lot and everything. I just don't have a lot of faith in like CEOs sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, but I think one of the executives or the assistants were like, "Hey, remember what happened last generation with Insomniac making an exclusive game for Xbox?
Xbox.
Luckily, the game kind of flopped, and Xbox the game didn't flop, but the system itself kind of flopped in the beginning, and that's when the game came out. So luckily that happened, right? But just
Mhm.
imagine if Xbox didn't flop on the reveal of Xbox One,
Yeah.
and that Sunset Overdrive came out, and that was like a lot of people loved that game.
Yeah.
Um, just imagine if that didn't happen. Like, and I
And
think
they
that's
ended
what.
up getting acquired by Xbox. That ooh,
Yes, that
dark.
I
That would have been dark.
and that would have been scary. And then you would have had Spider-Man on Xbox. Then you would have had all these other games
Well, I
on.
don't think they would. I don't think they would have had
Oh
Spider-Man on
yeah, yeah,
Xbox.
because
But
that's a Sony
but
exclusive. Yeah,
the thing is, though, that would have taken Spider-Man like off the table for Sony because who would have made that game for them? Like, I don't think any
exactly,
other studio would have been available to make that game, and who would have made it as well as Insomniac? I don't think anybody really could. And then
exactly.
you would have also lost Ratchet and Clank as well for Sony, which is a big franchise for them, dude. So the I think the interesting thing is that this is I think this is interesting because like when you actually look at it, besides Insomniac a couple years ago, Sony hasn't acquired a new studio in nearly 10 years. Sucker Punch was the last one I think before Insomniac, and that was like 2010 or something like that. So it had been a while, dude. They've been really dormant in terms of acquisitions, and I think this is an interesting. I think that's why I was asking you the question about this in relation to Xbox because I'm starting to get the impression that Sony is feeling pressure. Like I think they really feel like they need to respond to everything that Xbox is doing with Game
I don't.
Pass and their acquisitions and um
I
yeah.
don't think so right now.
Mhm.
I don't think it's what Xbox doing right now. I think it's what studios are doing earlier last generation. I think
Mhm.
Insomniac was one of those key studios that we all thought, like I thought for the longest time, like, Insomniac ain't going anywhere. They're going to be with PlayStation forever. And when they made that Xbox game, red flags went up. I feel like with me, so I know red flags went up with throughout the entire company of Sony. So I know this generation. Okay, and to a certain extent, I kind of take that. I kind of rewrote what I take back. I do kind of agree with you now that I'm thinking about it and talking about it.
Mhm.
Maybe they just don't want that to happen again. They do
Mm.
see that Xbox is buying stuff, but it's not for the reason that, oh, we got to match Xbox. It's for the reason that we don't want these studios that are like independent or whatever to go make games for Xbox and then it possibly get acquired by
Well,
Xbox.
Microsoft's being aggressive, right? They're overpaying for most of these studios they've been acquiring lately. Like, What is it to them to go to Housemark and like double what Sony was offering? You know, and
Yeah.
just to fucking put it to them. Forget about acquiring Housemark. Like they don't even care. They just want to do it so Sony doesn't have them. You know, like that kind of thing isn't out of the realm of possibility for Microsoft. I would argue that what they did with Bethesda kind of was that, you know, paying 7.5 billion for a publisher that is not that good, you know, but has games that sell well. So, you know, it's like, and they're taking that away from Sony. So yeah, I mean, I think there's multiple facets to it. I think we've hit on most of them here, but it's just interesting moves. It's good to see because I mean, think about like 4 or 5 months ago, right? Nothing was happening. Sony wasn't talking. They weren't doing anything. They were making no moves. Remember how negative everything was around Sony? And I feel like we're past that now. We're in the generation, man. I think the race has begun. Like to me, I am really excited about the next 4 or 5 years because I think we're really going to start seeing both of these companies really pushing forward for quality and quantity of games. Like because the other thing is like we were talking about this a couple weeks ago is most of Sony's studios now are making multiple games, which is not a thing they did during the PS4 generation. You know, they only made one game, and they're expanding these studios. Like they invested 200 million into their first party recently to build these studios up so that they're capable of making more games. You know, so Sony is trying to. I wouldn't say they're trying to match Xbox, but it's clear that they're trying to do things a little bit differently than they have been. They're not standing as pat as it seemed 4 or 5 months ago, which is a good thing. It's a good thing for everybody. So, okay, let's move on to our next story. This might be exciting for you. I don't actually know if you're a fan of this franchise, but Eurogamer broke earlier this week that a new reimagined Dead Space game is in development at EA Motive, and is more than likely going to be announced and shown at EA's Play event later this month in July. Montrell, have you played Dead Space? And if you
Uh,
have, is
yeah.
this exciting to you?
Have I played Dead Space? Fuck yeah, I
I
played
mean,
Dead Space.
okay, I don't know. I haven't. Fuck, dude. I don't fucking like. I don't know
uh,
your fucking gaming history, bro. Shit.
yeah. So, just quick. I played all three of them. I actually didn't finish the third one. The third one's where the
Hmm.
franchise died because they made it into a multiplayer action shooter game with
Hmm.
hella transactions and all the other shit like that, and it died there. And then shortly thereafter, that studio closed, and it became Motive.
Yeah. Yep.
So I'm actually excited for this because Motive is making it, and that's the original studio that made it, so they know this franchise.
Yeah.
Um, and since they're remaking it, I don't think the game needs a full remake, but they're doing like a Resident Evil 2 deal. So it's interesting to see what they're going to change up because the game was
Well, the
already
rumor is that it's like a reimagining, like almost like a reboot of sorts. So it
okay.
might not be a full remake. It could be a completely different game that takes
Okay.
place in a similar setting and has similar motifs and whatnot. But it might not be the same game.
Yeah. I remember that game came out, it did rival Resident Evil. Like that game because Resident Evil was going full action and this was the only game doing like really
Mm,
like a horror franchise. And it was the only game to do a really good sci-fi and space horror. Like we haven't really seen that from any other game besides maybe Alien Isolation or something like that.
yeah.
Uh so yeah, it was I think it's just an overall good game. I'm glad EA is taking notes and actually I will put this on the back of Fallen Order. I'm so glad Fallen Order just just so exponentially well because now
Hmm.
EA is seeing the life of single player games, and they
Well,
have a lot in their catalog that they can do.
yeah. Well, I so yeah, I do give credit to Fallen Order, but you also want to give a little credit to Capcom in Resident Evil here because EA's got to be seeing what's going on over there and being like, "Fuck, dude! Like,
Hey, I
we
don't
have like a
remember.
cult classic horror game as well, and it's kind of just sitting here. I mean,
Hey, Justin, look at the group chat real quick. I know that, but this is video game related. Look at your group chat
mhm.
real quick.
Man, hold, I mean, hold on. I asked you a question.
I need you to look at your group chat. It's very
I mean,
important.
I see it. Okay, yes, 3070. And he said he has it. Man, fuck. All right. We'll talk about that later. Answer my question, man. We're in the middle of the show right now. I don't care about the group chat.
Okay, okay. Ask me the question one more time.
Okay. How much credit do you give Resident Evil's resurgence in EA looking into doing this?
Actually, a lot of credit. It's about a 60-40. I give 40% of it to Jedi Fallen Order, but I give a lot 60 of it to Resident Evil's Resurgence because
Mm-hmm.
that game's selling really well. And I don't think Resident Evil 8 would have sold, even 7 to an extent. I don't think 8 would have sold, sold as well if it had been on the backs of Resident Evil 2 Remake and to a lesser extent 3, but I think 2 was the real big factor in pushing the franchise forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think they plan on doing the same thing with like Dead Space.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, I'm happy for people, man. Dead Space is a really it's a kind of a cult classic. And EA ran it into the ground as EA was wont to do at that point in time. But they seem to be learning, that not everything needs to be Madden to be a success, which is good. So uh, I hope this is real. I hope we hear about it soon, and I hope it's good for everybody. So, all right, let's move on, Montreal. This one's actually from last week or a couple weeks ago, even. Microsoft. This is more kind of a general thing. It's not like an announcement per se, but Xbox and Phil Spencer specifically mentioned and announced that the Xbox One is going to be able to play Xbox Series X games, even exclusives through xCloud. That is their plan for keeping that platform alive going forward, even deep into the Xbox Series XS generation. So basically, and this is interesting off the back of their E3 conference because Starfield is an Xbox Series XS exclusive. Obviously, it's on PC as well, but it is not coming to Xbox One. Redfall, I think Redfall, right? That vampire, what looks like a co-op shooter game from Arcane. That is also an Xbox Series XS exclusive, not coming to Xbox One. So
Okay.
Xbox, interestingly enough, it's so fucking weird how this has happened, by the way, that the company Xbox that I thought that was making it very clear that they didn't want to leave Xbox One behind. They wanted to make sure you could play all the new games coming out for the next couple of years on Xbox. They are leaving that behind first. Whereas Sony is doing the opposite when they were like, "Oh, we believe in generations, blah blah blah," and they're the one who's making all their games on cross-platform on both fucking consoles, now, and it's kind of weird, but this is an interesting solution to the problem because they can move their games forward, meaning not hold them back by old hardware, while at the same time not leaving that hardware behind. How do you feel about this approach?
Um, I don't know. That's a good question. I feel like Xbox is a predicament where they have to sell the Xbox Series X, but then again,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, they're going back on their original where they believe in generations. I
Mm-hmm.
think, or they believe in previous generations. They want everybody to be
Yeah,
accessible and stuff like
right.
that.
They don't want to
I
leave anyone behind.
Yeah, I knew from a fact that that was only going to extend to certain games going later on down the road.
Yeah,
Um, I
like
think,
Halo.
yeah, I think Halo is one of those games where they're definitely going to have that on every console. And then maybe they'll phase it out towards the end, like maybe 2030, 2023 or something like that, 2024.
Mm-hmm.
They'll phase it out. But I knew there were only going to be certain games because you have to sell the console, man. You have to sell your Xbox Series X, and there are only
Mm-hmm.
going to be games that run really well on the newer generation consoles. So I understand their logic. Unfortunately, gamers are going to make them eat shit, and they're going to be like, "Oh, but you said this, and that, and the third," and it's going to be a whole thing. So I understand the logic behind it. I think it's a good business strategy. I was always realistic about it, even when they were saying what they were saying. I was always realistic that there are going to be certain games even on the PlayStation, that are just going to be on the PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they're just going to be on the Xbox Series X. So I don't really have an issue with this because I knew this was coming.
Yeah. I think this is a really clever way to solve the problem though. Like they're not really leaving anybody behind necessarily through this service. And for the casual Xbox player who isn't going to get an Xbox Series X, it allows them to play games that are still coming out currently without having to buy the new hardware, especially given the shortages that are happening with it. So I think it's a pretty good strategy. I think it's not a bad idea. It also allows them to make the best games they can make, because they're focusing on the newest hardware as well. So, I think it's a good strategy. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with this. We can't expect. I think the fact that Sony decided to go the opposite direction pisses me off. Like I'm happy Xbox is doing this. That we're gonna get better games because of this. Whereas with Sony, it's like we're gonna get PS4 games that look super pretty, like that's what we're gonna get with Sony's side of things, and that's not a bad thing necessarily. It's just it's like it's holding the games back just a little bit, and that is not the greatest situation. So, all right, let's move on, Montreal. We got a few more stories here. We are getting towards the end here. MPD numbers for May. They've actually been out for a little while. I totally forgot about this last week. So this is actually interesting because the last couple months we had been tracking March and April. Game sales year over year and hardware sales had actually mostly gone down because of the pandemic was fucking crazy last year. But this month actually maintained for the most part. So total video game sales for May 2021 were 4.452 billion versus 4.343 billion last year. That is a 3% increase. Video game content, so this is physical, digital, full game, DLC, microtransactions, 4.066 billion this year versus 3.955 billion last year. That is a 3% increase. Video game hardware, 244 million this year versus 233 million last year. That is a 5% increase. And then accessories, 142 million this year versus 154 million last year. That is a minus 8% change. So a decrease in that one. But I mean, it's accessories, whatever. It's not really that big of a deal. So that's interesting. Buoyed off the back of Resident Evil Village, it seems. But here are the top 20 best-selling games of the month in the U.S. Montreal, stop me if any of these are interesting to you. First one, Resident Evil Village, number 1. Number 2, MLB The Show 21. Number 3, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Number 4, New Pokemon Snap. Number 5, Mortal Kombat 11. Number 6, Mario Kart 8. Number 7, Returnal. Number 8, Animal Crossing New Horizons. Number 9, Minecraft. Number 10, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019. Number 11, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. Number 12, Super Mario 3D World. Number 13, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Number 14, It Takes Two. Number 15, Biomutant. Number 16, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Number 17, Monster Hunter Rise. Number 18, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Number 19, Pokemon Sword and Shield. Number 20, Days Gone. Number 20, Days Gone, 2 years after it came out. That has got to be because of the PC release that happened in May. And interestingly enough for the show, Xbox digital sales not included in that number at all. So it may very well have been the number 1 game of the month, but we do not know for sure. Anything that jumps out to you there?
No, these are all surprising. I mean, these are all expected because I pretty much knew about Resident Evil being. I didn't think it was gonna be number 1 this month, but I mean, that makes sense.
I know, that's impressive.
Yeah, that is really impressive. But yeah, that's actually super impressive, to be honest with you. That hasn't happened in a while. I guess the only one that's really surprising is the Days Gone one. But
yeah,
you did
I'd say Returnal too. Actually, it went up 1 spot after its release month. It went from 8 to 7. So that game had a very good word of mouth by the time we got to May. I think. I mean, I remember it having a very positive buzz around it. So.
Yeah, it's one of those Dark Souls. I hate saying Dark Souls games, but it's one of those games like
it's
Dark Souls.
It's just a challenging game.
Yeah, it's one of those games like that happened with the original Dark Souls game, where it came out and then word of mouth spread out how hard the game was. You got to play the game, you got to try this game, and it just spread like wildfire throughout the video game community. So it's one of those games that people have to play once in their life. You have to beat it, but I think you have to play it. So I plan on playing it one day.
And then top 10 best-selling games of the year. I just want to call out the Resident Evil Village jumped up to number 2 immediately in May. So that is a very strong seller for Capcom. Resident Evil is a very successful franchise. Okay, let us move on, Montrell. We've got a few more stories here. Castlevania. We got a collection a couple years ago, which was Rondo of Blood and Symphony of the Night, which came out on PlayStation 4, and I think it came out on a couple other things too. But we may be getting another one. So in Australia and South Korea, there has been a rating for a Castlevania Advance Collection, which is going to contain the Castlevania Game Boy Advance games, which are Circle of the Moon, Harmony of Dissonance, and Aria of Sorrow, which I have heard that these are excellent Castlevania games. Pretty not super well known given where they were, but Montreal, have you ever played these?
No, actually, I have not played the Castlevania game. So I kind of steered clear of the Castlevania games when I was younger because I was still under the guise of my grandma. So she was very religious, and so I might actually give them a try though.
Yes. It would be pretty cool. So this isn't official yet. We haven't heard anything official, but it has been rated in other countries, which pretty much makes it official. It's going to be happening. So look forward to that. If we get a date soon, we will certainly let you guys know, as there is a fucking driving rainstorm outside of my house right now. Like, dude, I don't know if you can hear that Montreal behind me, but Jesus Christ, like my house is getting fucking pounded right now.
Whoa, hopefully they're using a condom.
Jesus Christ, dude. Okay.
It did get super dark outside, and it's only 9:00, and it usually doesn't get this dark yet. So.
That's what you look for. That's what you have to look forward to when we actually start streaming those kind of jokes. It's gonna be great. Okay. More announcement news, release dates. Square Enix's Final Fantasy Pixel remasters. The first 3 games, so Final Fantasies 1, 2, and 3, will be coming July 28th. Final Fantasies 4 through 6 are still to be announced for 2021, which I find fucking weird. Why aren't you releasing all of them at once? Also, pricing on each of these is fucking crazy. The games are priced between $11.99 and $17.99. They're on Steam bundled right now. You can get them for about $78, which I'm
What?
like, yeah. I that's like the deal too right now, dude. That's like that's the on sale price. The non on sale price is roughly $100 for all 6 of
This
these.
should be like $50 max. This is ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Absolutely fucking insane, dude, in my opinion. Like, what the hell are they doing? These games are so old.
Their fans are going to buy it.
I know they will. I know.
It doesn't matter, man. I'm sorry. It's just...
They're coming with the soundtracks, I guess. You get the OSTs with them if you pre-order them.
Whoa, I can listen to them for free. Oh my God. I can listen to them for free. Exactly. I can listen to them for free on fucking YouTube unless they fucking copyright all those shits. Which they probably will.
Oh God. You know what? Like, you want to know what like hell looks like to me is playing through the first 6 Final Fantasy games back to back to back, like nothing else in between them. That is like hell on earth. That would be my worst fucking nightmare. If I'm just, oh God. You know, I know they're great games. I know other people think they're great games, but man, I cannot fucking stand the style of JRPG. This old school, like turn-based style of JRPG. I just fucking can't stand them. So, someday I'll probably hurt myself and do this if, you know, I ever get challenged on stream, but
not me. Definitely not me. I am good.
I mean, do you like these games or no? They're not your cup of tea either.
They're not my cup of tea. I played the Final Fantasy 5, 6, whichever one's remastered. I can't remember which one's remastered on DS. That was actually
it was 3 and 4.
Okay, I played. It
was probably 4 you played.
Yeah, I played those, and I liked that. But even that style was still the old style, like the traditional RPG, and it was nothing special. It was just like in 3D or whatever. So
yeah, it was the same game, just like in 3D.
Yeah, exactly. So it was like, okay, this is cool. But no, they're not really my cup of tea. Like, I want my game to have a little bit more nuance to it, and like, one game I want them to fucking remaster, they won't fucking do it, is fucking Chrono Trigger, because I think that game has that game is actually like a modern JRPG, but it was like way back in the day. So they just won't remaster it though for some reason. So
yep, they hate that game. They never they like. I feel like I feel like it has this like really long shadow over Square Enix, and they just don't want to ever acknowledge it exists for some reason. I don't really get why, because like Secret of Mana and like the Mana series, they're all over that shit. They're like remaking those games and like re-releasing them all and like fucking like all this shit, and like Chrono Trigger can't even get like anything. The last thing that happened with Chrono Trigger was I think the DS re-release that happened in like 2006.
Yeah, we can't get like a sprite remaster or something like that, dude, or a pixel remaster. Like
nothing, man. Maybe they're saving that for a rainy day. I don't know.
They have to be, man, because I think that game, because they're still making, and I was like, okay, well maybe you have to do something with what's his name, the Toriyama. Maybe it's something with Toriyama, right? And I'm like, maybe they don't have a good relationship with them, but they're still making fucking Dragon Quest games. So it's like,
yeah, right. They definitely. That's not the reason. I don't know what the reason is. I feel like Square's got some games that they know, and these Final Fantasy Pixel remasters actually are an example of this, because they're not coming out on PlayStation, or Nintendo or Switch actually, which is like completely inexplicable. Makes no fucking sense. People are like, "What the fuck, Square? What are you doing?" The thing is like it kind of makes like, if you think about it, they have a lot of games, like old school games, that people will just eat up, if they release them. And these Final Fantasy games are one of them, and Chrono Trigger is the other one. It's like, if Square's having a bad year one year, they could just drop like Final Fantasies like 1 through 6 on PlayStation and Switch, and bang, they're profitable, baby. Everything's fine because people are just gonna buy that shit in droves. Same with Chrono Trigger. I feel the same way about Chrono Trigger. So I don't know. It's weird, but I'm sure we'll get it someday, probably before we die, right?
No.
Maybe
it's been almost 30 years at this point.
God, we're so old, dude. Don't remind me of that. Oh, the 90s are so far away. Oh my god. Oh, it's terrible. All right, let's move on. We got one more story. This is another Sony one. Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut is real, and it is coming on August 20th on PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4. So this is basically a re-release of the game from last year, but it has additional content. It is going to have a new DLC story that is going to be taking place on Iki Island. I don't. God, that sounds weird. Which is an island. It's a real island. It's off the coast of Tsushima Island as well. And there is going to be a little bit of a story there. It is going to take place weird spot because you can actually access it while you're still playing the main game. So it sounds like it's kind of concurrent with the rest of the main game, but you can also play it after you've beaten the game, of course. But this is also going to come with all the additional DLC that they've released over the last year as well. But it's going to be $60 on PS4 and $70 on PS5 for the full version. So you get the full game and the DLC. The DLC on its own will be $20 on PlayStation 4 and $30 on PlayStation 5. So on PlayStation 5, there are going to be enhancements to the game in terms of its graphics, some other things that they mentioned vaguely. It's PS5 exclusive features. So let me read this out, I guess. There will be Japanese lip sync in the PS5 version, not the PS4 version. Apparently, the PS5 makes this possible in the game. So that is a feature you're going to get. And then in Ghost of Tsushima Legends, it will take advantage of haptic feedback as well as the base game, and this new expansion will also take advantage of haptic feedback of the controller. There will be 3D audio enhancements and 4K resolution options, and then frame rate targeting of 60 frames per second, which is actually already possible in the game. It's not something you need to buy this re-release for, but it's there as well. So, Montrell, all that I just said, is that worth $10 to you?
Well, it says when I was reading here, it's going to be $30. So if you want to upgrade directly from the Ghost of Tsushima PS4 to the Director's Cut on your PS5, it's going to be $29.99. I think that's
yeah,
worth.
But the thing is, $20 on PS4 if you don't do the upgrade.
I don't think it's worth it.
So what they're saying is the difference between the PS4 version and the PS5 version is $10, is worth $10 to them. Like, and that seems a bit much in my opinion, but
I'm not going to play in Japanese. For me, no, because I'm not going to play in Japanese. I guess the haptic feedback and the adaptive triggers are worth it. And maybe the dynamic resolution. I'm assuming they're going to be redoing the textures and everything, so the game looks even more beautiful than what it already currently is. Because I haven't played it on my PS5 yet, and I was actually going to play it on my PS5, but now I'll just fucking wait. And 60 frames per second, that's already on the PS5. I mean, I can see the work that I can see is $10 worth of work. Yes. For me personally, maybe 7, because I'm not going to use, I don't really care about 2 of these features, which is the 3D audio and the Japanese lip sync. I don't really care about that. And the dynamic resolution and 60 frames per second, that's already there for me. I think the only thing that's worth it is probably the expansion. So yeah, with the expansion added onto it, then yes, it is worth the $10 extra or whatever. However, I do not think it's worth. If you have a PS4, I don't think you should buy this director's cut. That's just my opinion. I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah, well, dude, the thing is, I find this really weird. They're really adamant on getting that $10 because if you look at this, if you own the game on PS4, you can buy the director's cut for $20. But if you buy the director's cut on PS4, you can only upgrade it to PS5 by paying an additional $10. So they are really intent on making sure there's no loophole here. You can't upgrade your game to PS5 and then buy you can't buy the PS4 version and then upgrade it to PS5 after the fact. You still have to pay $10. You cannot do that. So it's they really want to get that $10 for the PS5 version. That it's kind of weird because most games, there's no other game I can think of really that's doing this. Square with Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade might be the only example, but the thing is, Intergrade's not available. They made that an exclusive to PlayStation 5, so that's not available on PS4 right now.
Yeah.
So it's like they at least like made it so that there wasn't even an option. Whereas with this is like they're kind of doing what Intergrade did, but they're still making it available on PS4. They're just making sure you cannot get the fucking game for free. You know, you cannot upgrade the game for free, regardless of what you do, without paying that $10 in some form or fashion. So I don't know. They're kind of nickel and diming a little bit here. I think they're taking advantage of how popular this fucking game was, because this game was super popular. And I'm sure this is going to have a big splash in August as well. For good reason. I mean, the game's fucking fantastic, you know? And I'm sure this DLC expansion is going to be pretty cool too. But it's like weird because you're getting the same content for $30 and $20 on each platform. The only thing you're paying $10 for is literally the enhancements on PS5. That is it, dude. Like, you know, you're not getting additional content for that $10. So I don't know. It's a little weird, but it is what it is. I mean, if you haven't played this game, fucking worth it. Buy this shit. This game is just absolutely phenomenal. So to the point that I don't think I'm gonna play it again, like, you know, now, but I'm like thinking about it, you know, like I don't know. There's nothing out right now that is just like striking me like this game did last year. You know, I kind of just want to play a fucking game that's like badass, you know?
Yeah, this game really, I know we already mentioned it like last year or whatever, but this is one of those games where we thought was just going to be another Assassin's Creed game. And then when we bought it, when we played it, it was such a experience that I can't even describe to you, because we watched gameplay footage of this game and we thought we had all the knowledge. And I think that's why I love this game so much, is because we thought we had all the pieces to this game. We thought we knew what this game was day in and day out. Yeah. And then we got the game and it was something almost completely different from what they marketed towards. And it's like,
right.
And it was one of those experiences where it almost felt like I was walking into GameStop, buying the game just because the cover looked fucking cool, and I bought the game. I came home and I fucking loved it. That's how it felt to me when I played this game. And I think that's how it felt to everyone else when they played this game, because Sony marketed this game like shit. You know, Last of Us 2 was like their main shtick at the point, and they're like, oh, you know, Last of Us 2. And this game came out and just blew everybody's socks off. So,
yeah. No, it's pretty crazy. I was so surprised by this game. Like this is a game to me that like it just doesn't come that often, you know.
Yeah.
It's just so special, you know. It's like a once every year or two kind of thing. That is just like, it's such a special game that is like I miss it. I miss the experience I was having with this game. Like it's because I was like obsessed with it. I was playing it every day, but dude, I was enjoying the fuck out of every second of
yes,
it.
exactly.
You know? It's like, it just was, it's like the height of gaming, man. It's just like that high you get when you're playing something like truly, truly special. It just doesn't happen that much. And this game was that I think for both of us. So highly recommended. I'm looking forward to playing it again someday in a year or two, probably, with the new DLC as well. And I am looking forward to Ghost of Tsushima 2 as well. So, okay, Montrell. So that's it, man. That's all we got for the news. We made it. We man, we got it done in less than an hour and a half, which not a normal thing for us. So, but anything else you want to talk about before we go today?
No, that's it for me today.
All right, let's go. Let's get the fuck out of here. Let's start grinding Final Fantasy 14 some more. Poop stalking the hell out of that. All right, guys. So if you like the episode, please like the episode, review the show, and subscribe to the show on whatever feed you're listening to it on. And please share it with your friends. If you'd like to interact with us on Twitter, you can do so at iTrap for the Hokage, for Montrell. That is the number 4, not the word. I'm at Thundernut01, and the show is at The Player's Take. If you'd like to interact with us, if you would like to send us a question, you can do so on Twitter, or you can send us an email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com. And that is it for us, guys. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will see you next week. All right, bye.